But Splash is a mechanical monster on the inside.
You have all the normal challenges of building a building. You have air conditioning, you have to have emergency exits, you have to have ways for maintenance people to get around.
To make sure we got everything right, we rode that attraction, I think, close to 200 times. And there were times where we were riding it in the middle of the night.
And now, inside of this very complicated building, we were able to tell the story of all these characters of the Briar Patch.
When it comes to water rides, Disney's Splash Mountain is as good as it gets. Up next, the Imagineers give up the secrets behind their most advanced ride vehicles. Imagine falling 13 stories in a runaway elevator. And later, the inside story on the Imagineers special effects shows. It's Radical Rides when we come back. In the battle for theme park dominance, they're the ultimate secret weapon. They are the master magicians behind Disney's theme park magic. They're called Imagineers. They create every ride and attraction inside Disney's 10 theme parks. But how do they do it? They always start with a story, but these tales take you places you've never been before. Imagineers use lots of tricks to tell their stories. This one may come as a surprise. Ride vehicles. For Disney, they're storytelling machines. Every single day, Disney ride vehicles are bumped and battered, twisted and tortured. They take the punishment a Disney ride dishes out.
It's got to run 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Disney has thousands of ride vehicles. They're on 3 continents, spread throughout 10 theme parks. The inspiration for Disney's most advanced ride vehicle came from one of their most popular attractions, Star Tours. Located at California's Disneyland, the Disney MGM Studios in Orlando, and Disneyland Paris, it was the very first motion simulator that was combined with film inside a moving theater. When Disney transported people into the world of Star Wars, their motion simulator was a theme park first.
Everybody loves Star Tours. It was the first time we'd ever done a simulator. Anybody had done a simulator in a theme park environment. We said, what could we do? What's the next step of a simulator? I said, well, what if you put Star Tours on wheels?
Research began. A new breed of ride vehicle was born, called EMV, or Enhanced Motion Vehicle. It was a quantum leap in ride vehicle design.
You can think of them as simulators on wheels in its simplest term, but they're very sophisticated vehicles which allow us to drive through a space, but also have you moving dynamically and pre-programmed in that space.
The Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland was the first to use this revolutionary technology. Murderous mummies, flaming fireballs, slithering snakes. Forget the real world, because this is an Indiana Jones adventure and you're in the driver's seat. This bone-rattling off-road experience bounces and bumps its way through an ancient temple in a desperate attempt to escape the wrath of the gods. Nothing like it had ever been created. Bringing this rousing ride vehicle to life wasn't easy. The Imagineers had to do an endless amount of testing to get everything right.
We then started building mock-ups inside this facility to say, what would happen if we, had, the bad guys coming at you? What would happen if we had, booby traps you were going through?
It took us literally 10 years to create a vehicle which is not programmed by the engineering of the track, but is programmed by almost an artist, if you will.
With a computer in hand, an Imagineer was jerked and jostled as he programmed the car's powerful movements.
We had to come up with a system where the vehicle could run through this temple and have complete motion and simulate running over skulls or running over rocks or going down a mudslide. All that had to be programmed.
It's the motion system that takes this ride beyond reality.
So a scene where we have a huge snake leaping out of the car repels in horror the same way that a guest, or you'd be shocked by a frightening thing. The car can literally react to that.
The Indiana Jones ride vehicle was another first for the Imagineers and opened the door to a whole new generation of Disney attractions. If you thought Indiana Jones was intense, then you'll find the tower to be terrifying. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, that is, located at the Disney MGM Studios in Orlando. It's big, it's bad, it's 199 feet of sheer insanity, and it's got a ride vehicle that everyone can relate to.
Well, we knew we wanted to do something with an elevator. It's one of those ride systems that most people get to probably ride in just about every day. So let's take something familiar, which is an elevator, but put a twist on it. Well, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen in an elevator?
5 unlucky hotel guests, 1 creaky elevator. Suddenly, lightning strikes the building, and the elevator disappears. Now it's your turn. You've booked a room at the Hollywood Hotel. The only way to get there? A shaky-looking maintenance elevator.
In couples room number 5. Please do enjoy your stay.
The cab ascends. First floor, ghostly apparitions beckon you to join them. Next stop, the 5th dimension. Suddenly, you are thrust forward. No elevator has ever done this before. Making this runaway lift come to life was nothing short of impossible. Disney's Imagineers approached a major elevator manufacturer for advice.
We went and explained to them that we wanted to send people rapidly down an elevator shaft as if they were crashing, and they turned pale and said, "You don't understand, for over 100 years our mission has been to prevent exactly what you're trying to do."
But having the ride system take guests up and down wasn't enough. The Imagineers came up with a completely original concept.
They said, what if the elevator goes up and down the shaft, but eventually it stops on a floor, and when the doors open, the elevator actually leaves the shaft. It's one of those things where you're sitting in a meeting and you say it and everybody goes, ooh.
The insidious elevators move vertically just like any other, but they also move horizontally. These elevators are freestanding ride vehicles that move independently under their own power. When the ride vehicles need to move up and down, they actually drive themselves into a lifting mechanism. They ascend through one shaft, leave the lifting mechanism, and then move forward through a Twilight Zone scene. They then move into a second shaft and onto a drop lift mechanism for the heart-stopping 13-story freefall. And it's not just one drop. You fall over and over again.
The ride vehicles for the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror are very unique in that they are controlled by cables and different systems that hand the vehicle from one area of the building to another.
Computers are the secret to keeping the terror on track.
It becomes very, very tricky to track all these vehicles to make sure that everything is flowing. It really is like a ballet to make sure it's all flowing smoothly.
But there were problems. What happens when you drop an elevator down a shaft at insanely high speeds?
One of the things we found out was when you pull the elevator vehicle down, you create a lot of pressure underneath the elevator. Just the air gets compressed. We ended up compressing the air so quickly that we actually blew out the walls of the building down in the bottom of the shaft.
The problem was quickly solved. And thanks to the tower's incredibly versatile vehicles, there's nothing else like it in the world.
Now, you take that drop ride and stick it out in the middle of the field somewhere, and no, it's not going to be one of the best rides in the world. But where it's located, inside the hotel, make it one of the best non-roller coaster rides in the entire world.
Coming up, an inside look at the Imagineers special effects shows.
Did you say cheap 3D tricks?
And a big bad alien terrorizes Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. And later, the secrets under the skin. Disney's robotic figures undressed. All of this and more when we come back. From Towers of Terror to Indiana Jones Adventures, they are the creators of every Disney attraction. They're called Imagineers, and they're the masterminds behind Disney's theme park magic. Some of their most guarded secrets? Special effects.
I like to think that the effects bring the shows to life. It can create an environment and take you sort of out of the world and put you into some magical reality.
Disney's special effects shows are three-dimensional theatrical experiences unlike anything you've ever seen before. And the effects can be startling.
The technology can be anything from effects that have been done in the theater for hundreds of years, or something that has been just developed and is cutting edge and utilizes the most up-to-date video projection technology or computer animation.
Some of the oldest tricks are still holding their own today.
For instance, Pirates of the Caribbean, the fire effect has really, with the exception of real fire, been hard to beat over the years. People look at it and they know it's not real fire, but it's a very effective special effect.
With today's technology, anything can happen. You see, you touch, you even smell. You never know what's coming next. It's Muppets, it's mayhem, and a one-of-a-kind 3D special effects show at the Disney MGM Studios in Florida and Disney's California Adventure. It's called Muppet Vision 3D. This was the first time Muppets ever appeared in a Disney theme park. How did these two entertainment giants come together? A high-level meeting between the Imagineers and Jim Henson.
Jim walked in the room and we pitched through a few ideas, and he really sparked the idea of a 3D movie because he felt that the kind of spoofing and the fun of his characters would be so much fun to combine with 3D, that the types of silly 3D tricks and gags would fit naturally with his characters.
So it's going to be a swell demonstration, and at no time will we be stooping to any cheap 3D tricks.
Did you say cheap 3D tricks? And here's something I wanted to spring on you.
The Muppets are on the loose, and no one is safe from their goofy antics.
You're seeing a demonstration of what they call Muppet Vision 3D every time you go in there, and that demonstration includes all these wacky things that happen in the theater.
The effects? Bubbles, water, fog. Simple but effective ways to tell the story. And of course, it's all in 3D, so you can almost reach out and touch it. A big show needs a big finale, and Muppet Vision 3D is no exception.
We decided we would blow up the theater, so the theater gets partially destroyed and damaged, but nobody gets hurt.
But how do you destroy an entire theater without destroying the audience?
Most of the effects are achieved through various different kinds of technology and combines lighting and strobe effects, large format projection, cryogenics, CO2, all mixed together and timed properly to give the correct impact.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to apologize for our slight technical difficulties, but I do wish to assure you that no one was hurt, and enjoy the rest of your stay, and come see us again sometime.
Not all of Disney's special effects shows are cute and cuddly like Muppet Vision 3D. The discovery of a new technology led to one of the most terrifying special effects shows ever created. It's located in Tomorrowland at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. It's intense, it's terrifying, and it's all in the dark. It's called the Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. And you've never seen or felt a show quite like this before.
Alien Encounter is really what we call a sensory thriller, in that it uses as many of the senses as we can possibly figure out how to use in an attraction.
At this attraction, aliens want you to be their guest. You've got a front row seat for their newest demonstration. You enter the chamber where the experiment is to take place and are strapped into your seat so you can't move. But something goes wrong. The lights go out. You're in the dark. And a menacing alien has escaped. You see nothing, but then you hear and feel the hot breath of a horrific creature merely inches from the back of your neck.